but she's unhealthy. She can hardly fit in her freaking shoes. Why on earth would we promote people walking around and looking like this?
Hello YouTube, and welcome to the Body Honesty Project. My name is Lydia, and today we are revisiting the TikTok of Jordan Hall modeling the infamous red shoes. Now, the reason why we are revisiting this TikTok is because I saw a new TikTok that duetted it by a fat talker that was rebutting all of the points that Sydney had made. Well, I want to rebut her rebut, so why don't we just jump right on into the duet?
But there is something clearly wrong with the woman on the right. Not saying that she's not worthy and deserving of love, because she is. But she's unhealthy. She can hardly fit in her freaking shoes. Why on earth would we promote people walking around and looking like this? And it's honestly mean to say that someone is beautiful and all this stuff when it's like we're literally lying to them and making them think that it's okay to be that way when it's really not, because it's hurting their health and it's shortening their lives. If you really care about people, you tell them the truth.
Here's a point-by-point breakdown on why everything that creator said is not okay and wrong. To start, you cannot determine someone's health just by how they look. Someone, thin or fat, could be experiencing suicidal ideation or other mental health struggles, could be addicted to something, could have really high cholesterol or low bone density or too high of a resting heart rate. They might have a chronic illness or other autoimmune disease. Thin people could have type 2 diabetes and high blood pressure. And while no one owes you health, only thin people are assumed to be healthy and thus left alone. But they might not be healthy, and that's fine, especially given our lack of access to affordable, quality healthcare. Also, some people are their healthiest when they're fat. There are a million reasons that people are fat, but some include going on antidepressants and other genetic factors that just mean they have a higher set weight than others might, and now they're finally, for the first time ever, maybe not hyper-restricting anymore. Additionally, just existing in your body isn't promoting anything about your body. So if you think that the woman on the right deserves love and safety and everything else you claim to think, don't you think she also deserves the right to have a job, regardless of what industry that's in, modeling or otherwise? Because the most political thing about fatness being visible in brand campaigns right now is the fact that we haven't seen more of it before, because fat people have always existed and we have discriminated against them. They're just existing. They're not promoting being fat. And finally, the most reliable explanation scientists have right now for what makes fat people less healthy than skinny people is the abuse they undergo. The fact that they are paid tens of thousands of dollars less per year than their straight-sized counterparts, the fact that they're harassed in the street, not being able to find clothing that fits or sit at a restaurant or fit in an MRI machine to get preventative scans that you need. It's the discrimination that makes fat people unhealthy, nothing else. So actually, unsolicitedly telling fat people the cold hard truth, as this creator suggests, makes fat people's health worse.
Now, there were some good points made there, but there was also a lot of fat acceptance bullshit as well. So why don't we start at the beginning? She began by saying that
you cannot determine someone's health just by how they look.
And yes, that is true. And especially in the case of thin people, what she said is true, that we don't know what's going on the inside. We don't know if they have mental health problems. We don't know if they have diabetes. We don't know if they have some sort of internal health problem that is not exhibiting itself externally. True. But when we look at a fat person, or especially a morbidly obese person like Jordan, there is no way their health can be good. It is completely possible that their mental health is fine. It is also completely possible that their blood panels right now are fine, but there is no way to be morbidly obese and be healthy. It's just impossible. Even if your test results are showing that you're okay for now, you're at very high risk for other things like cancers and diabetes and heart disease. And even if none of those things develop, are you actually trying to convince people that your quality of life and your mobility is fine at that size? Because it obviously isn't. Look at the shoes. There is no way that Jordan's mobility is good. So even though I cannot deduce the health status of someone that presents as thin, does not mean that I cannot deduce the health status of someone that presents as fat, because one is maybe healthy and the other one is definitely not healthy. Then she had to say that,
Also, some people are their healthiest when they're fat.
and I agree and disagree with this. I don't think that everyone's healthiest weight is the societal ideal weight. No, I think that there's a range where people can be healthy, and some people are more predisposed to feel healthiest at the lower end, and some are more predisposed to feel healthiest at the upper end. If you're eating right, exercising right, sleeping well, overall feel like you're in good health, but your weight happens to fall in the overweight category, you might be at your healthiest weight. And who cares if it falls 10 or 20 pounds above what ideal is if you're doing all the right things and you feel good. But nobody's healthiest weight is morbid obesity. Nobody's set point weight is 450 pounds. That goes against biology, because the only way to get to that size is by eating an extreme surplus of calories. And nobody's body needs that much. Can you honestly say that when Tammy Slayton was 600 pounds that she needed all that extra weight, that extra weight was benefiting her health? So yes, some people are predetermined to be a little heavier, but morbid obesity, like Jordan, is nobody's set point healthy weight. Also, antidepressants don't make you gain weight by themselves. They stimulate your appetite and make you want to eat, and then you gain weight. So you can't really blame a drug for making you gain weight. You can only blame the drug for increasing your appetite. And then, of course, the argument of
Just existing in your body isn't promoting anything about your body.
And this is a really touchy one for me, because I'm not exactly sure where I stand on this. Is the clothing company just showing these are the clothes and we have them available in all sizes? Or are they actively promoting a typical type of body? And I question this because the reverse has been happening for the past couple decades. People have been criticizing how skinny models are, and by showing them as representation, we are encouraging young girls to want to look like them and to develop unhealthy habits and eating disorders. So there was a big push to remove skinny models from runways and magazines so that their existence didn't influence others. So if thin existence equals influence, why is fat existence not equal to influence? Also, do we not remember the Tess Holliday Cosmo cover? Now, the cover itself, I really didn't have an issue with it. There's a fat woman on the cover of Cosmo. Who cares? But what I did have a problem with was the article on the inside, because it was talking about how she is strong and fit and 300 pounds. Well, that's a lie. So is the model just existing? Or is there a narrative talking about how fit and healthy you can be while also being morbidly obese? If it's just about representation, why is it that negative behaviors have been expunged from magazines? We don't see smoking in magazines anymore, but smokers still exist. Should they also be represented? Or is it because it's a negative behavior that if we show them, we're actually endorsing it? I don't know where the line here is with obese models. Is it just showing existence, like, hey, our clothes come in these sizes? Or is it promotion? Because I don't see how we can say that the existence of skinny models promotes Anna, whereas the existence of a fat model does not promote BED. I don't know. What do you think? I'm also very curious to see what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years when these obese models start getting sick and, God forbid, passing away. What happens when Jordan Hall and Tess Holliday become too sick to model? What will all the brands that endorsed them say? If Tess Holliday were to die of a heart attack, what would CoverGirl say? What would Fabletics or whatever the clothing brand that sponsors her say? Do they have any role in endorsing and supporting this lifestyle? If high fashion designers are held accountable for only making clothing for skinny models, should brands that cater to plus size clothing also be held responsible? You tell me. And then, of course, it has to be all about the discrimination.
And finally, the most reliable explanation scientists have right now for what makes fat people less healthy than skinny people is the abuse they undergo.
And I agree, there is fat discrimination. But my God, you cannot tell me that that is what is killing fat people. Because, I'm sorry, this is a clogged artery. This is a heart smothered with fat. And this is a joint that has too much weight bared on it because of fat. Discrimination is not nice, but it is not the cause of obese people's poor health. Look at the facts and look at the science. Obesity kills. You don't have to like it for it to be true. And then, of course, she thinks that telling people the cold, hard truth is a form of discrimination.
So actually, unsolicitedly telling fat people the cold, hard truth, as this creator suggests, makes fat people's health worse. It's the discrimination that makes fat people unhealthy, nothing else.
But it's not. Telling the truth is not discrimination. Treating people differently because of said truth is discrimination, but telling the truth itself is not discrimination. And I would argue that it is discrimination if we lie to people and tell them that they're beautiful and healthy as is, when the truth is they're not. That's real discrimination, because the thin person is getting the truth and the fat person is getting a lie. And I think that everybody deserves the truth. So until next time, stay body positive, but also body honest.